Good morning, Bitcoiners. I hope you're doing well. I'm loving my life. Who could complain on a day like today? It's not going to be me. I'm not going to do it. Things are going great. Other than multiple computer problems, I just realized as well. I was not on my good microphone, but I switched it. I wasn't on my good microphone because I had to just reset my entire computer, and my mouse, my stupid Apple mouse, is out of battery, so it doesn't. I'm gonna have to like charge it every time I'm talking between screen switching. So that's going to be annoying, but we're gonna do fine. So, as you know, we don't complain, but we do complain. There you go, everyone. Let me just pause this so I can get to your comments. I'm not even going to bring them up on this computer for now because I need the mouse. We need the mouse. The gang is back. Missed y'all yesterday. Good morning, Great Awakeners. Let's do this. We're doing it indeed. Good morning, Wake Up Team. Chatelet, escape the Matrix indeed. Nolan, our friend Alexis from the conference, got the website for her Bitcoin sock company up and running. Amazing. I'm going to talk about that. Cape Cotton. I will bring the socks that I have. They're excellent. I will show them off tomorrow on the episode. Thanks for reminding me about Cape Cotton. They're really sweet Pepe socks. I'm a big fan. And they're all cotton. You know how hard it is to find cotton underwear and socks? Nearly impossible. But luckily, we got some Bitcoiners on the job. They're going to make our life easier. Good morning, everybody. Hope it was a great Memorial Day weekend. Sid Seaberger, 17. Yeah, it was a strange one. We didn't get out as much as we'd planned. And anyway, we had fun. We had a great time. Good one here in the family. Nothing too much to report back on. She's currently working on connecting BTC Pay server to Shopify, says Escape the Matrix, and this is for Cape Cotton socks. We love to hear it. We love to hear it. Hello from Wisconsin. My temperature is set properly thanks to the experts. Noah, I was at my thing this weekend at my thermostat, and I was like, okay, I'm not in Wisconsin right now, but I'm going to pretend that I am, and the answer came to me. I remembered what to do. Now, I don't recommend everyone do that. I was taking chances, okay? I was taking chances going with Wisconsin technique and the Quebec and Northeastern technique, but, you know, for today, it worked. For this weekend, Memorial, there's a holiday weekend. I said, okay, I'm just going to try it. It worked out, though, thank God. Anyone have the BTC Cotton Socks link? Tommy DOU. It is at capecotton.shop. Capecotton.shop. I don't have the mouse situation right now because I'm letting it charge for a minute, but I think I'm at 3% now. I was at 0 earlier. But capecotton.shop is the link that's posted by Escape the Matrix 91 over on the live chat on the Rumble channel. So there you go. capecotton.socks. My kids are a big fan because Pepe does something naughty on my socks. He's doing something naughty on the bottom of the socks, and the kids find it really funny. So the homeschool kids have like a very, very different threshold, right? The S word is still a thing to them. Like if somebody says shit, it's like, oh my God, that kid says shit. Which is fun, which is real fun. Okay, we got sup retard, sup Chalosky, good morning gang, indeed, good job Noah, peak comfort and energy efficiency, she's doing it all, Escape the Matrix, she can do it all. You can do it all. You could set your thermostat, you could save energy, you could do it at all. Now you know. Climate alarmists have hacked Nolan's computer. They did. Damn experts always trying to ruin our fun. Good morning. God bless, says Jesus is King 04. Thanks, Escape the Matrix. Exactly. But only in Wisconsin. Maybe Illinois. Maybe. Like I said, I went on a limb on a holiday weekend because I just didn't want to call on AI and all the services and Google. And I said, I'm going to I'm going to try to apply some of this wisdom I'm learning from our morning news expert rundown on what to do with the thermostat. And it worked for me. Okay. I'm not saying it's a good idea for you. It worked for me. Okay. We got to get experts in your local area to help out. Maybe they can figure it out. Maybe they can figure it out, right? Are we now doing a Fuentes 2-hour lead-in? I don't know what you're talking about, Pioneering Freedom. We don't know. We had technical problems, but I'm pretty sure you're not my boss. And I can come whenever I want. So there you go. There you go. Def not listening to the experts in New Jersey. Exactly. Throw it out the window, Count. One day we're going to do it. Let her fly. SCTV style off the roof. Check your mic. We checked my mic. Is my mic working now? Oh, yeah, that was from before. Good mic catch. My job is finished here. I hate the magic mouse. Why do I have 5? Buy a backup mouse, says High Volume. One day I'll do that. I used to have a backup mouse, actually. It broke. I got a free extra mouse once from Apple because of that, but I gave away, can you believe I gave away a whole desktop that I only bought in like 2021 recently? I gave it to my nieces. They never use it. I want to get it back because I went over the other day and they weren't even using it. It's a good one. It was the last Intel desktop before they refreshed them. So I could probably be running some AI on that or something. I should do it. Save energy, save the world. Nolan Fuentes coming in hot. Good morning, team from the land up over. Indeed, Bitcoin Deb in the house. He has never been late. I am on time every day because the time that it starts is the time that I'm here. So that's the time. That's the time. And we are definitely not trying to copy anything Nick Fuentes does. We're not a Fuentes copier around here. We're not a Panikin. Ha ha ha. If you guys are not interested in bragging about Panikin failure today, this is not your episode. This is not the time for you to watch. There was some guy who put in a comment on YouTube the other day, I feel sad for Nolan. He's so lost on Israel and all these things. Yeah, it's not going to get better, guys. If you think I'm lost, I'm going to be completely lost now, okay? Because we're going to have peace and it's going to be great. So this is not the episode for you if that's the world you come from. Definitely not the episode. We are doing that stuff. All right. I think I got, how much charge do I have now? And the 14, that might get me to the end of the episode. All right, everyone. That is a sunrise. We got Bitcoin running at 76, just below 77,000 US trash tokens. We're doing great, everyone. Suntech operational, Bitcoin operational. Let's have a coffee and talk about what's new. But first, we need to start with the NPC news rundown. It's not going great. It's really not going great. You're going to see some really fun ones today, let me tell you. The first one I have is from the Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson. And this is what she says. This is what she says, everyone. She says that her colleagues' handling of the Louisiana voting rights case may have compromised the court's impartiality in political matters. Guys, the Supreme Court's compromised. According to Ketanji Brown Jackson, she's brilliant. She has it all figured out. Speaking of brilliant people, I got this one from Lupita Luongo. She's playing the Luongo. Pardon me, Lupita, if I get the name incorrect. But she actually has a master's in drama from Yale University. And they were asking her here about her thoughts on the Odyssey movie where she's playing Helen of Troy. And this is what she said. She says, I really had no idea what the Odyssey was, she says. I was like, oh, snap. I don't know the first thing about this. So it was a crash course. Picked up the books and read them immediately. I have this film to thank for my Greek mythological education. And by picked up the books, she really means she read the Odyssey and listened to the Iliad for a good reason. Audra McDonald reads it, she says, by way of explanation in between sips of hot lemon water. It's the best audiobook I've ever listened to. She was unfamiliar with the source material. Come on, guys. Don't laugh at Lupita. She's going to be a great Helen of Troy. It's perfect. She's great. I see people being mean to her, saying she's not pretty. Well, guys, she never heard of it before. You can't blame her. She's just doing her best, right? She had no idea. Yale might want to rethink its curriculum, though, however, in drama for a master's graduate to not know the Odyssey. I don't know, maybe they should reconsider what's going on over at Yale. So we're all looking forward to the Odyssey starring Lupita. I don't know anything about the Odyssey. Luongo playing Helen of Troy. It's perfect. We love it. Oh, we get this too, guys. We have a new meme format that came in this weekend. It's excellent, right? This is a new meme format. We're going to share it. And this comes from this girl, I guess. She did a great job, by the way. So she's kind of like an intern, and not an intern, but she's not like a full-time journalist or something like that. And so she was at the White House, and someone tried to shoot the White House this week. And someone, I think, died even because they were shooting from across it was a mental case, shooting from across the street. I guess they returned fire. And so I think someone died. It might have been the shooter. I'm not really sure. No one in the White House died, obviously. But she was on the grounds reporting. And so people laughed at her reaction, but her reaction now has become a meme, and we're going to show the meme. And this here, this meme of her trying to figure out what's going on is being overlaid onto the George Floyd death, the autopsy. So here's a correct, because it was the anniversary of the George Floyd overdose this week. And here she is talking about the George Floyd overdose as a journalist. So it's a new meme template, everyone. You're going to see this around. It's pretty good.
What is that?
Is it a gunshot?
What is that?
Sounds like fire.
Today, but this obviously comes.
So the new meme format is journalists who don't know what's going on saying, what is that? What is that? It's a pretty good one. You're going to see a lot more of it. Someone green screened it right away. So, of course, Derek Chauvin still in jail. We don't like it. We don't like it. Oh, bad news too, guys. It was going to be warm here today where I am. It looks like it's warm everywhere, but you're not going to believe what happened in the UK. The all-time May record temperature of 32.8 degrees Celsius, guys. That's like 90. It hit 90. It's been matched for the first time in 82 years. Amber heat alerts in 5 parts of the UK as all-time temperature was broken again. Oh my goodness. It's so hot in the UK. So hot in the UK. That's why, right, we saw those incredible heat wave at 90 degrees. It hit 90, everybody. We hit 90, and you should see the way they're reacting in the UK. You wouldn't believe how extreme things are getting. You would not believe how extreme it's getting in the UK. That 90 degrees has ignited this. The UK heat wave ignites calls for widespread air conditioning, guys. Air conditioning. They're now recommending air conditioning in the UK. We'll see. We'll see if they embrace this drastic and radical solution to their 90 degree heat day that first time they had in 90 years. We'll see if it goes anywhere. But I mean, that's why, you think there's extreme answers, right? There's extreme answers. It's like 90 degrees in the UK. Whoa, maybe we should Ignite calls for air conditioning. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, they got other ideas too because of how extreme everything is. Scientists say a huge dam blocking the Bering Strait could slow effects of climate change. Guys, I got an idea. Let's dam up the Bering Strait because it was 90 degrees in the UK like it was 90 years ago, and they refused to use air conditioning. So let's dam up the Bering Strait. If that's not enough, we got this problem in Canada. Look at this. Guys, it's a pollen bomb. It's not just pollen, it's a bomb. It's a bomb. A pollen bomb. Boom. Is making this allergy season particularly bad, experts say. Early spring pollen was delayed by weather, but I thought climate change meant it comes earlier all the time. Maybe not. Now, in coinciding with late spring pollen, expert says, what does the expert say? We're in a bit of a pollen bomb. It's a bit of a pollen bomb. It's a bit of one, right? A lot of early pollinators like Adler, maple, cedar, they sort of got delayed this year, sort of. They sort of got delayed. Sort of. So that's what's going on. Oh, this is good too. This is a story from LA. You're going to believe this one when you see it, guys. Guys, LA is safer than it's been in decades. Guys, LA is safer than it's been in decades. It hasn't been this safe since like the 60s. It's so safe in LA. Everyone's doing great. And crime but why is crime an issue dominating the mayor's race? It's safe. It's so safe. It's amazing. Go for a walk. It's just like that. It's so safe in LA. And just like that in Canada, the highest proportion of people since 2017 say Canada is on the right track. They're doing great, just like LA. It's going so well. They love it in Canada. And that's why the Toronto Star says this: Canadian unity suddenly needs a hero. Can Mark Carney be that guy? Is he a hero? I want a hero. I need Mark Carney in my life. He's such a hero. He's gonna save Canada. And we get this news too. This is great. So this is also from Canada. This is the Globe and Mail. 5 years ago this week, they say, radar technology located this is the same radar technology that they use to count the monarch butterflies by counting the branches and taking an average of the branches and the monarchs on one branch, and then they know how many branches, and so they know exactly how many butterflies are in the world, right? It's that kind of science. So 5 years ago this week, radar technology located the remains of 215 former residential students. Now, 5 years later, the country is still trying to understand what it is they found among the apple trees. We return to Tikasakawankapachik First Nation to learn what has happened since the uncertainty sparks public impatience and gives rise to doubt and denialism. With no answers unearthed at Tumulukapuk's gravesite, doubt and denialism take root. But they keep this sentence in here. Radar technology located the remains. Where are they? Nobody knows. It doesn't matter. They found it with the radars. But now what's up with this impatience? Imagine an accusation of 215 children being buried in one place, and then they don't find the bodies. And then now it's like they got a little impatience. Guys, stop genociding children, okay? And if you doubt it, you're a denier, like global warming. Stop denying it. Come on, jerks. Speaking of graves that we can find or can't find, this story is amazing. It's not an NPC story, but I want to share it with you anyway. And it's related to finding graves. And because it was Memorial Day, something amazing happened in Arlington this weekend. Really amazing. So while they can't find the graves of the 200, just can't find them. It's okay. We're gonna find them eventually. Right? So those graves they can't find. This one, unbelievably, was found. This lady here, Cheryl Ann, on Sunday night, posted the following. She says, "This is probably a long shot, but if anybody happens to be in DC this weekend and plans on visiting Arlington, I would love to see a fresh photo of my husband's grave in section 60." And she gives his name here and says this is when he lived, 1975 to 2007. There's just something about knowing people still stop by, still say his name, and still remember. And nothing prepared her, I imagine, for what happened next. 5.7 million views, and the replies are enough to make you just bawl your eyes out. This is John Conrad here, who we cover a lot with the boating. He's a merchant marine. We say his name, and he was just one person. It doesn't end. Tulsi Gabbard went on her own as well. She says, "It was an honor to visit your husband's grave today on your behalf and pay my respects. It was wonderful to see the beautiful flowers representing many others who did the same. Our nation owes a debt of gratitude to those who made the ultimate sacrifice and to the loved ones they left behind. Thank you for your service and sacrifice, Cheryl Ann." And there, Tulsi put a challenge coin onto the headstone. Tulsi, of course, taking a leave of absence, if you didn't hear, from working for Trump, or I guess leaving the position altogether. Her husband has a bad case of cancer, it turns out, and it's a real bummer. So I do believe she can be president one day, and continue to believe she will run once this unfortunate health event is over. Would love to see her try out the Republican nomination or even the Democrat one. But there you go. So many people visited the grave. It filled up with flowers and flags and lots of beautiful stuff. So just a terrific story. You love to see it. Sounded like a great guy. I think someone asks here what he was like, and she gives a really great and sweet answer about what a cool guy he was and how much fun he was, and just glad that it's there. So while they can't find the graves in Canada, I'm glad millions of people saw this post and hundreds of people visited the grave yesterday. If I was in Arlington, I would have made the trip there for sure, because that's an amazing story. All right, back to some NPC news before we go on. This is great. This is a political cartoon, guys. Here it is. I know I got to get this to come in correctly. Here's a great political cartoon, guys. The pillars of American democracy, guys. We got authoritarianism here now. Look at this. The pillars of the late night hosts are obviously the pillars of American democracy, and it's losing a pillar. Do you understand the messaging here, guys? Do you understand what's going on? If you don't do something now, if you don't stop Trump, guys, this is what you're going to be left with. Your country's failing. If you don't listen to the laugh track, you're not going to have a democracy anymore. He's gone. We've only got 4 of them left. We've only got 4 pillars of American democracy left, everybody. We need it, please. Because if we don't have it, it's going to get worse. You should see the kind of stuff Trump is up to now. He's losing. He's out there losing. Iran is beating Trump at the art of the deal. He's losing, everyone. We got this. Trump losing the Iran war. Experts say short-term romp turning into failure. He's losing. We can't do it. He's beating Trump and negotiating. They're beating his ass everywhere. He's losing. Trump's losing. What are we gonna do? He's losing. All right, so that's what's going on. All right, as I said, warning to anyone who is a panican or neocon or any other form of sludge person out there. You're not going to like this episode. All right. So turn it off right now. You're not going to have fun today. If you come here to find out what the people the Bitcoiners who still like Trump are thinking, this is not going to be your episode. This is just not going to be for you. There's other stuff on the internet. You can go worry about what's going on in Iran anywhere. There's plenty of places to go and do that. Here today, we're talking about what I've been talking about for the past few weeks. Everything coming into, I think, clear view now in the Middle East. That is in the wrong spot. 1 second. I got to move this. I hate when my things end up in the wrong spots. So yesterday, Trump came out and issued a note about the last moments of the Iran war and what's going on. And he said the following. This was his note. He says, I'm in the Oval Office, blah, blah, blah. All these people are around me. We're talking about stuff. We're all things related to the memorandum of peace. And then Trump does something pretty amazing, right? An agreement has been largely negotiated here separately at a call with Netanyahu, which likewise went very well. Final aspects and details. So he goes there, says all this stuff. Then he comes out with one more note. And this is the one that really got people talking, which is Trump came out and said, oh, geez, these things are out of order. 1 second. Let me get these in correct order. I don't know how this happened. And now I don't have them. What is going on here? Well, we'll go with this one. So here he comes in and says, no, that's not it either. Where's the one, the most recent one? Okay, just give me 1 second. I need to find the one where he talks about the Abraham Accords. Because what have I been saying about the Abraham Accords? Well, anyway, the point is Trump came out and said Abraham Accords. Let me see. I got to be able to find this. This is like everywhere on the internet right now. Let me find the Abraham Accords one. I got rid of a lot of them. I have to clear my thing all the time. Oh, there we go. Yes. Found it. Okay. So here he says, this is the important part. This is why I got them confused. He says all the names again, blah, 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 blah. This is where he comes out and says, you know, bad shooting, all these people again. And here he says it should be mandatory that all these countries at a minimum simultaneously sign onto the Abraham Accords. Those countries discussed are Saudi Arabia, UAE, already a member, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, and Bahrain, already a member. It may be possible that one or two have a reason for not doing so, that they will be accepted, but most should be ready, willing, and able to make this settlement with Iran a far more historic event than it would otherwise be. The Abraham Accords have proven to be, for the countries involved, Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Morocco, Sudan, and Kazakhstan, a financial, economic, and social boom, even during this time of conflict and war, when the current members never even suggested leaving or taking so much as even a pause. The reason for this is that the Abraham Accords have been great for them and will be even better for everybody and bring true power, strength, and peace to the Middle East for the first time in 5,000 years. It will be a document respected like no other that has been signed everywhere in the world. Its level of importance and prestige will be unparalleled. It should start with the immediate signing by Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and everybody else should follow suit. If they don't, they should not be part of this deal, and that it shows bad intention. And speaking to numerous of the great leaders mentioned above, they would be honored as soon as the document is signed to have an Islamic Republic of Iran as part of the Abraham Accords. What did I say? That Iran would be included, that Saudi is going to be included from literally day one. From literally day one of the conflict, I said the Abraham Accords are holding, and that is the most important story. That the Abraham Accords were holding, and that the insurance market was the main escalatory device that wasn't working, and that it was directed towards London. Those are the two frames I've held since the opening salvo of this war back on the last day of February, the first day of March. Those are the two things I have never wavered from consistently every single day. I've many times mentioned that Iran would be part of it. Now, even going back to Saudi Arabia is going to sign this. People saying, oh, it's not good, it's just Trump, and people are surprised. Saudi is surprised about all of this. Trump is trying to poison the potential of peace by doing this because no way they're going to sign. They're going to sign. He's already signed. It's coming through. There's no doubt about it. Iran also going to sign. Now, you'll notice nowhere in this note is anything even mentioned about Israel, because Israel doesn't matter anymore. Israel, because this whole conflict was about Iran, the fake prison of two ideas, the fake fighting, the fake political and religious division that always goes on in the Middle East, because it was a City of London projection. And because the City of London has been so isolated from this event, that's the reason why you now see this stuff falling apart the way it is. Because the truth is, when you look at what's in the Abraham Accords, if you look at what is in the commercial agreements between Saudi Arabia, America, all these places, you can see very clearly the one, not many people have been saying this, that Israel is legitimately being handed over to the Middle East to work with the Middle East. It'll be a sovereign country-ish, a little bit sovereign. I don't know exactly what's going to come of it, but it's not going to be what it was before. It's not going to be this divisive force in the world. It's going to be something else entirely. And that's why peace through commercial agreement between all of these areas is now there. And that's why Trump is saying, I'm mandatorily requesting that all countries immediately sign the Abraham Accords, and that if Iran signs its agreement with me as president of the United States of America, it would be an honor to have them also be part of this unparalleled world coalition. The Middle East would be united, powerful, economically strong, like perhaps no other area anywhere in the world. By copy of this truth, I am asking my representatives to begin and successfully complete the process of signing these countries into the historic Abraham Accords. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And it looks like that's what's happening. It looks like the whole plan around all of this, the plan to include all of these groups into peace, to incentivize peace in this way, it looks like that's what's happening. And it looks like these systems of control are being torn apart. Here is Observing Consciousness talking about much of this, saying Rome concentrated power through military expansion and territorial control. The City of London refined the same gravitational model through finance, shipping lanes, reserve currencies, and debt architecture. Both became global coordination hubs, shaping the behavior of nations far beyond their physical borders. History shows that when systems drift too far from productive value and become dependent upon maintaining influence through abstraction alone, the center gradually loses coherence while the outer world reorganizes around new sovereign actors. And that looks exactly like what is playing out today. And that's why you're seeing, and I'll even go further. You're seeing Trump go on about the nuclear dust, right? Trump going on about the nuclear dust. To me, this is the main provision of peace as far as the Americans are concerned, because proving this uranium came from American sources, that's why Trump says, bring it home. You're going to continue to see this. This is all he really wants. This is the narrative that he needs to go after the deep state in America once and for all. And I think he's going to get it. And I think that's where we're headed. In conjunction and coordination with the Islamic Republic of Iran, destroyed in place or at another acceptable location with the Atomic Energy Commission or its equivalent being witness to this process and event. Thanks for your attention to this matter. So the nuclear dust, a big part of the story, and I do believe that he's going to get it. And if you keep looking at what's going on with all of these incentives, you can even see pieces coming quickly, and that the power of the City of London is diminishing just as quick. If you look at what's going on in the Ukrainian conflict, for example, we've seen Putin become pretty emboldened. He's launched a huge cruise missile or ballistic missile attack on the city of Kiev. Pretty sure they're now being left, hung out to dry. So I'm just going through my notes here to look for, I thought I had a video of the bomb falling. I don't remember where it is. I guess I don't. I guess I don't. In any event, the funny thing is about this piece is that it is absolutely infuriating all the right people. And by all the right people, what I mean are the panicans, the neocons, they're all absolutely losing it. And that's part of what's fun here. That's part of what's fun here. So, yeah, let me just see this. Yeah, so this is another one by Observing Consciousness. Before I go on to, this is the Russian point. I don't have a video of the missile hitting, but I do have this. Trump meets Xi as the Strait of Hormuz becomes the central pressure point of the global economy. Then Putin meets with Xi almost immediately afterward, while the world is conditioned to see only division, escalation, and blocs forming against one another. Days later, Trump moves toward a potential Iran framework tied to shipping lanes, energy stability, and regional de-escalation, which completely changes how the sequence above starts to read. The deeper pattern emerging is that energy corridors, AI infrastructure, BRICS expansion, wartime economics, and maritime control are converging into one coordinated geopolitical restructuring event happening in plain sight. When Putin's warning towards Zelensky lands inside the larger field, it's a signal that the unipolar system is reaching compression limits, with a new multipolar order is being negotiated underneath the surface noise. And so you can see that because Israel lost basically all of its negotiating power when it comes to this, that Israel now is more or less not even mentioned in these Abraham Accords. And the net effect of this is that both the neocons and panicans are lighting themselves on fire today. And you love to see it. Lindsey Graham, the deal is struck to end the Iranian conflict because it is believed that Hormuz cannot be protected from Iranian terrorism, and Iran still possesses the capability to destroy major Gulf oil infrastructure, that Iran will be perceived as being a dominant force. Matt Walsh says Lindsey is really stressed about the possibility of the war ending. He might have to creepily wander around Disney World again to calm himself. And this one too, you get Mike Pompeo saying, same idea. Mike Pompeo, of course. Stephen Hayes here, you get the same idea. They're all fighting. Chung and Pompeo had a fight over it. Chung was briefed. You and Pompeo haven't. Deal in facts. Don't assume or speculate. And of course, there's another example. Mark Levin losing his mind. History teaches us that peace deals are best made after the enemy is defeated or surrendered. History teaches any president seeking legitimate peace gets assassinated. Oh, yeah, here's the Mike Pompeo one. All the right people are agitated again. That's what you like to see. Cernovich with the same observation. Trump's deal, which is made after demonstrating military strength, is one of magnanimity for the rest of the world. It also has infuriated the warmongers and Democrats. That's how you know it's going to be a huge win for the USA. And this one is also important indeed. Here, Christian Hines saying, truly incredible to watch so many people who spent the last 3 months crashing out over Trump attacking Iran now pivoting to attacking Trump over making peace with Iran. I'd love to say pick a side, but these people have already picked one. Trump does anything equals bad. Meanwhile, normal people are hoping that this peace deal will actually materialize and that we can wrap up this stupid war as soon as possible. I wouldn't say it was stupid. I think it was one of the most necessary wars. If you're a Bitcoiner and you understand exactly what's been going on with the fiat industrial complex all over these years, then you know it. If you see those pressure points, this was anything but stupid. The only people who are upset of the prospect of ending this conflict are Democrats and neocons for obvious reasons. So here's the three groups, right? Democrats and neocons, like we've heard, and subversive counter signalers who are upset at the prospect of having to construct a new agitprop campaign to demoralize people over. What's it going to be next? What do you think the next thing they're going to say is? I'm just curious. Like the Tuckers and the Fuenteses and all the people who listen to Candace Owens and all that stuff. What is the thing they're going to freak out about next? I don't know. I have no idea what it's going to be next. Maybe data centers, just because it sounds like they've got maybe some, I don't know, a partnership with the Democrats about it or something, and they can hate on big tech, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to complain about, but indeed, they're going to have to construct a new agitprop campaign to demoralize people. We'll find out what it is, but it won't be Israel. Israel is toast. Israel does not survive this in the way that it is currently built. Just look at this. This is where things are headed, right? You see the PSYOP video. These are always fun. Here is the PSYOP World War III stuff going on about what happened. And this is how I see it. So other people see it this way. This video maker sees it this way. I will share it now.
続報。トランプ大統領がイランとの暫定合併合意を発表しました。ホルムズ海峡は再開される見通しです。
対象を明け、ダウの下落にはもう耐えられない。
よっしゃー！レッツゴー！レッツゴー！打ち上がってるぞ！レッツゴー！打ち上がってるぞ！
続報。トランプ大統領
Just looking at the chat, making sure everyone's being civilized in the chat, but it looks like it. I like the civility. That's excellent. Excellent civility. Excellent. It's okay to disagree. BTC Plebinator says the war did accelerate Bitcoin. Yeah, sure. I agree with that. No doubt. But now understand where things are headed, right? You got to look in these constituent groups again, and you got to see what's going on. So a lot of people say, now I would prefer if Thomas Massie ran as a Republican in the primary. I think he will. He announced this weekend there's a good chance. I guess he's filing as a candidate or potential candidate so he can still have donations even though he's not running for Congress. So he made some indication that he's going to run. Some people are saying he's going to run for Libertarian. Some people say it's to split the vote because spite. Maybe that's the case. I doubt it will really matter. I don't think he's going to bring much of a force there. I do encourage him and would love if Thomas Massie ran in the Republican leadership candidacy against maybe even Tulsi. I think Tulsi would have a place there. They're here now trying to run fake news on Tulsi, right? Resigns as director of national intelligence after contradicting war on Trump. So she's a target. But it would be great to see her. I think that there is a pretty interesting nuanced position between Massie and Tulsi that I think would be great to hear play out on a stage. You wouldn't want them siloed against or separate from each other. You would want them on the same stage, putting all these ideas out. So you hope he goes and does that. That would be great. If he goes for the Libertarian thing, I think it's kind of a waste. If he loses the Republican nomination and then goes to Libertarian, I don't think that matters. I think everyone will just see that he lost and that would be fine. And I think Tulsi is one person who she could actually win. There is no more old GOP, so it doesn't matter that she was a Democrat before. I think that the realignment would be positively accepted if she was able to run and win as a Republican GOP MAGA candidate. And I do think she could go for a type of MAGA candidate. Remember, the next president isn't as important. It's not as important. You want to start seeing the role become a much more ceremonial role after all of this. Maybe presiding over some space drops, that kind of stuff. It's not going to be the all-out risk-taking Hormuz type stuff in the next administration. I think most of what's being done right now can't be undone and will lead to various realignments in the world that will be important because you want your president to be like the job used to be, not the job that World War II turned it into. You want it to be kind of vice-regal job. You want it to be mostly chill, mostly ceremonial. Every now and again, they got to stand up with the big stick and whack some stuff, but that's how the job was designed. not this leader of the free world thing. That's a stupid way to do the job. So that looks like it's falling apart. Now, if Thomas Massey does go to the Libertarians, I don't think it'll make that big of a deal, because indeed here they got their new chair, right? This happened this weekend, and he was convicted of armed robbery. He publishes gay torture porn and was a COVID panican. The good news is the Libertarian Party under his leadership should be unable to take any votes from Republicans. So I don't think it's going to work out for them. This guy here was a stay the fuck home panican guy, and now he's leading the Libertarian Party. So theater kids at it again, and they will do their best. We'll see. But again, all of this stuff about national security that we're probably not going to have to worry about too much in the midterms or from now on. It looks like peace in the Middle East will completely rearrange our concept of national security in America. We do have issues with national security, but they're mostly homegrown and domestic at this point, with all the mental illness around there. But the solution to that type of national security is exactly the same as the solution to international security, which is grow the economy. And the economic arguments are the ones that are going to win. The reinvigoration of this financial system that we have is the way we're going to win. And it is the whole game of economics and what's going to happen with this system. So here is Susan Kokinda talking a little bit about what Trump is up to for this international peace and where we're going to get where we're going to be able to develop our view for where this stuff is headed. So here is Susan Kokinda on the Hamiltonian American system finally coming through.
Go back to Pompeo's post and look at the response from White House Communications Director Stephen Chung. Mike Pompeo has no idea what the F he's talking about. He should shut his stupid mouth and leave the real work to the professionals. Well, Chung is certainly right about Pompeo, but it's more than a question of professionals. There's something fundamental at work here, and it's easy to miss if you're still trapped inside the old geopolitical framework. Now, if you look behind all the twists and turns of the military operation and the multi-layered diplomacy over Iran, you're going to find a principle that Trump has never deviated from. He doesn't run foreign policy on imperial geopolitical rules, where every nation is supposed to play its dutiful role in maintaining the globalist financial architecture. He operates on a completely different definition of hard power. Everyone assumes hard power means military and kinetic force. Well, we certainly demonstrated that in the opening phases of the Iran conflict. But there's another kind of hard power, and it's the kind that wins decisively. Go back to the December National Security Strategy. One sentence stands out above all others, and it starts in the section which talks about the importance of America's reindustrialization to our national security. It says, the future belongs to the makers, the builders, the producers. In other words, the world of real physical production, not the City of London, not the speculative markets, not the futures markets, not the choke points. This is the foundation of America's entire foreign policy. And in the Iran conflict, it played out with surgical precision. So start with America's energy independence.
So that's exactly why you guys have been seeing this board for as long as you've been seeing it. This is why I built this board in 2022. Why the makers and the ables, okay, I just wanted them all to be A's, right? The all eyes and the axis and the ables. But makers are just as fine, right? That's the same idea. It's people who build. The strategy that we have is to be better people. That's how we win this war. We don't fall for the psyops. We don't fall for the panikin doomer. Oh no, Trump is getting blackmailed by Netanyahu. Netanyahu has no power, who is losing, and his country is being handed over. Of all the people, if you go and look at this deal, the one who has to swallow the bad medicine here is Netanyahu, not Israel. Israel's better off. Netanyahu no longer has the conflict. He can no longer rely on this architecture. He relied on it. He can't rely on it anymore. It's over. And with it being over, that's why you don't even see Israel mentioned in this Abraham Accords piece. It's just how the Middle East is going to absorb Israel into its commercial arrangements, into its economic arrangements, and that will be peace for it, right? And so here, let's see if it works again. I went and I came back. Let's see if the audio still works.
Look at the new constellation of forces arising out of President Trump's vision of foreign policy. New relationships which are grounded in the shared desire for real physical economic growth, which upsets the geopolitical world of scarcity and financial control that London has used for centuries. There are some very intriguing signs emerging. Start with Kirill Dmitriev, Vladimir Putin's chief economic envoy, who has also been directly and heavily.
I covered this last week, of course. This is the joint projects between Russia, China, and America. Exactly why you're going to see Russian oil exploration and extraction in Alaska with a physical bridge between the two continents for the first time ever.
Involved in U.S. negotiations with Russia over Ukraine. He recently suggested joint U.S., China, Russia economic deals. He said, "We've really seen significant interest from a number of American investors to enter into Russian and Chinese projects, including in the energy sector." Now, Dmitriev's remarks came during President Putin's trip to China, which came immediately on the heels of President Trump's trip to China. Then there's this trial balloon calling for Trump, Putin, and Xi to meet in Yalta, floated by a Pakistani senator whose family ties go back to Mahatma Gandhi and the fight against British imperialism. He said, "At this moment, the world needs peace. And if we look at history, Yalta is the city of peace. Yalta is the place where peace spread from. These three must sit across the table, as has happened in history, and they must come up with a solution for peace." And right now, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in India. He's conducted 3 days of extensive meetings with his Indian counterparts. And tomorrow he's going to be holding discussions with the Quad, India, the United States, Japan, and Australia. The theme of the press conferences and the agendas have been singularly focused on energy, on civilian nuclear cooperation, on strategic minerals. That is, on the physical foundations of a productive 21st century economy. This is not being framed by the administration as, quote, containing China. So you can start to see something emerging. New sets of relations between the United States, China, Russia, India, Japan, the major industrial powers on the planet. For more than 100 years, the empire has played major powers against each other so that no combination of forces could emerge with the strength to challenge the imperial financial architecture. And key to all of that was the suppression of the American system, which laid the basis for breaking free from the empire. That system has been unleashed by Trump's economic policies, and it is reshaping foreign policy. That's why Trump can say, perhaps the Islamic Republic of Iran would like to join the Abraham Accords, because in his framework, that sentence is not crazy. It's the logical endpoint of a policy in which economic development replaces geopolitical containment as its organizing principle. The CFR sees that future, and from their standpoint, it is indeed morbid. From our standpoint, it's the dawn of something the American system was always meant to be.
And you can see here, this is something we'd all recognize. Let me go back and here, Here, the alternatives to monetary disorder. This is where they talk a little bit about this system here. And it says, currently, this is from in the book, eloquently addressed by Hamilton in his report to Manufacturers of 1790, in which he expressed the opposition of American nationalists to their country's assuming the role of a raw materials exporter to Britain. What did I say when Trump signed his deal with Australia before he went and visited Xi last time? It was this in Korea. It was exactly this. He was setting up Australia to no longer be a raw materials exporter. He was saying, build the magnets, build all the high-end stuff in Australia. We'll buy the finished product from you. So you already saw this re-architecture going on. And that's why from here, I think you're starting to see incredible signs, really incredible signs that the golden age Hamiltonian system is piercing through. Here is Lawrence Lepard talking about exactly what I've been saying for months, saying non-consensus view. Warsh will cut. I've been saying that. He will use the AI productivity and trimmed inflation excuses. That's what I've been saying. Will claim all the war inflation is transitory. That's what I've been saying. 2 data points from today's Wall Street Journal support his view. Kevin Hassett, director of the National White House National Economic Council, made the same case days earlier on Bloomberg television. We're really likely to see rate cuts this year because of war, she says. Nothing is more transient than a supply shock, Treasury Secretary Bessent said on CNBC last week, predicting a substantial easing in price pressures after 1 or 2 more hot inflation numbers. As Stefan Moran points out, inflation occurs with a lag, so cut, juice the market, run it hot, all to help win the midterms. So remember what I said you're not going to like today if you don't like me bragging about my predictions. I hope you left. If you're a person who's sitting here like one of these panikin masochists, I'll just laugh again at how stupid you are for even watching this show, because I've told you I'm going to do nothing but brag. You can disagree with my worldview all you want, but I'm going to laugh at how right I am. And if you don't like the arrogance, sorry, I can't help you. On a day like today, I'm not going to help. I'm going to be extra. My view, war is over. Oil will come down, allowing this. And I believe that is the case. Now, look at the signs of the golden age piercing through. It's everywhere you look. The Iran war, just as we heard here, that Bitcoin was indeed a what did you call it? The war accelerated Bitcoin. It sure did. It accelerated the American Bitcoin reserve as well. A U.S. congressman just proposed building a strategic Bitcoin reserve. The target is 5% of all Bitcoin ever mined, roughly 1.05 million coins. The bill calls this the modern equivalent of Fort Knox gold. The funding mechanism is the part nobody is talking about. Nick Begich wants to reserve funded with cryptocurrency the United States seized from Iran during Operation Epic Furies. Say what? Treasury Secretary Bessent confirmed the total, roughly 500 million U.S. trash tokens in Iranian crypto, 344 million of it frozen in April. The mechanism was not a federal raid on a cold storage facility in Tehran. It was Tether, stablecoin USDT on the Tron blockchain, 2 addresses linked to the IRGC and the Central Bank of Iran. I wonder if this explains what's his shit from Tron. What's the guy again? I like him. He's funny. He's suing Trump right now in World Liberty Financial. The Tron guy, Justin Sun. Justin Sun. I wonder if this. Remember why I said I thought the Justin Sun thing was like China ordered him or something? I think this is probably connected to this case. Tether's compliance team blocked the addresses at the request of U.S. authorities. So it is not a Bitcoin seizure. That is an issuer freezing balances. Basically, a CBDC event using stablecoins as the means of control. Tether, by design, can freeze any USDT it has issued. Bitcoin by design cannot be frozen by anyone. The bill is funding a Bitcoin reserve with the proceeds of stablecoin issuer cooperation. Bitcoin's whole pitch is that nobody can do what Tether did to those 2 Tron addresses. Not your keys, not your coins, especially on a Bitcoin blockchain that lets the issuer control it. Especially on a blockchain that lets the issuer control it with the push of a button. There's those beautiful U.S. flags flying on the White House yard, and exactly what I've been saying. So yeah, I wonder if the Justin Sun thing was related. Anyway, just one sign of the golden age. I got plenty more. This was been circulating all weekend. A lot of fun, and we've got here Mario Nawfal pushing it, an idea to recreate or to create Lewis and Clark Argonath, like the ones from Lord of the Rings. So these were the famous Lord of the Rings Argonath statues, if you remember, from Fellowship of the Ring. And this weekend, people talking about putting Lewis and Clark at this juncture up in the Minnesota section of the beginning of the Mississippi River. There's Wisconsin. Luckily, we know at what temperature the thermostat can be set on that side of the Mississippi. No confirmation if the same advice works in Minnesota, everybody. So hold on if you're from Minnesota. Do not go with the numbers that you got from Wisconsin. Wait for the experts, please. And here the experts are suggesting building a Lewis and Clark statue. Would be great. The guys I've been following for a while on this channel, the Atelier Misor, who are trying to build the Promethean statue, would be great for Promethean action. Promethean statue. Here's this guy talking about it, saying Maranophill is now pushing the idea that I am leading. This operation to build 2 300-foot tall Lewis and Clark statues is being led by myself, and that image he shared is my design. Atelier Misor quoted me that price. We're going to make this happen. $50 million should be doable to get 2 giant statues on the Mississippi River. Golden Age coming in. We got more Golden Age news. It's not just that. Other statues being discussed. More statues being discussed. Here's one by the Francis Key Bridge. People are just suggesting statues at random now. Baltimore needs a massive statue on this perfect little island in front of former Francis Scott Key Bridge. Why? Why not? Let's get more bridges on all the abandoned star forts. We got more. It's not just that. We got this going in the United States. It's a nuclear power plant that's going to be next to a hydrocarbon power plant right next door. This is what we got on this. Dow Chemical is putting a reactor on a petrochemical plant. Oh, pardon me, I had it wrong. First industrial scale advanced nuclear deployment in North America. X Energy's XE100 at Dow's Seadrift, Texas facility. It's going to have a lot of power, 320 megawatts of electricity, 200 megawatts of high temperature steam per unit for industrial processes, base load power plus industrial heat simultaneously. This is the capability gap no one is talking about. Solar and wind generate electricity. They can't deliver the high pressure, high temperature steam that chemicals, refining, and heavy industry run on. Nuclear can, and Longmont is the first proof of concept at industrial scale. AI data centers get all the nuclear headlines, but industrial heat is 20% of global energy demand with almost no clean alternatives. If this works at Seadrift, the replication opportunity across petrochemicals, steel, and refining is enormous. Dow didn't sign a clean power certificate. It put a reactor on its own site. This is what was prevented from all of this financial architecture running the world for the past 50, 60 years. This is what we couldn't have. Now we're getting it. And this is, like we've talked about many times, imagine all we ever did with these nuclear reactors was put them in stupid submarines. Ridiculous. They should have been running everywhere. And this is what the fiat apocalypse, this is what the fiat financial system prevented, because the old financial rails were reality. That was the system. There was no incentive to build any of this. We got more. It's not just that. We got more going in. Westinghouse with this announcement. Westinghouse wants to build 10 AP1000 reactors in the US, and the binding constraint is in the supply chain rather than the license. Heavy components are one of the tightest links because few plants in the world can fabricate a reactor vessel, and the wait runs into years. In March, it turned its Italian subsidiary, Mangiarotti, into a Westinghouse Electric Italy, a nuclear hub for around 300 people building the vessel, steam generators, and pressurizers for the fleet. The Malfalcone plant runs milling centers with 600-ton turntables and a cold rolling mill that handles nuclear-grade plate up to 250 millimeters thick, with direct port access for shipping and finished components. We are getting our reactors at scale, guys. We're going to get so many. That's the good news. We got more Golden Age stuff. We got this, a new Concorde, way faster, 2.5 times faster, and it's from Japan, so it's not bullshit. New jet from Japan, speed 3,800 miles per hour. Japan just lit the afterburners on the JAXA. Just pulled off the country's first successful ramjet combustion jet for a Mach 5 hypersonic passenger aircraft, hitting speeds over 380 miles per hour and handling 1,000 degrees Celsius heat like it was nothing. That's more than 2.5 times faster than Concorde, Tokyo to New York in about 2 hours. This is how the world starts shrinking dramatically. The future isn't coming. It's already in the wind tunnel. This comes to us from Brian Romelli. We have a Concorde on display in Barbados at the airport, so I get to see Concorde pretty often. It gets even better, though. More of this space stuff. It's not the end of the story. We got even more. We got all these rockets that are going up by Elon and SpaceX. We find out here, he says the trend will continue. So not only do we have nuclear reactors going in, we're going to space for energy. SpaceX puts 10 megawatts of solar power in space across 300 Gen 1 Starlink satellites. And here we also see that you can put 100 megawatts in space with the 700 Gen 2. And then, here, let me just get this thing better. And I will show you how he's getting these things out there, how he's getting the energy. There was another video shared. I mean, really golden age stuff coming through if you know where to look these days. Incredible, incredible. So it's got, basically, he's going to be able to produce way more electricity in space because the thing scales in such a way that the more he puts, the more he can put. And so you're starting to see this thing go a little bit asymptotal. And soon you're going to have just tremendous amounts of energy being produced in space for this reason, because we need it. And this is how it's happening, right? This is a vision of it. So this is how the rockets release these satellites, and they all have their own power sources. So this is the first time we've ever been able to see Starship in space from another object. This view comes from a modified Starlink satellite they just deployed that has a camera and a light on it. Super cool. So this is the ship releasing the satellite that had a camera on it, and it's got that little docking hole. Camera went on and off just there, and there it goes. There's the beautiful heavy rocket that we've been looking at. So there it is. Amazing things happening. And again, it gets better. It's not just that, right? Here's some incredible footage from that rocket being launched this week. I don't know if you saw these pictures, but these are the incredible, this is the heaviest thing that's ever gone into space. And look at the shock waves coming out of the propulsion engine. I've never seen any effect like this, but this had a lot of people talking. Really. And this isn't special effects, as far as I understand. A lot of people have these videos of shock waves. Watch this. Look at that. I mean, I think that's just beautiful. We got some golden age action happening, guys. We got some wicked golden age happening. And then here's what's funny, right? So the rocket, I guess, I don't really understand what happened, but when it came down, it did like a flip, and everyone was happy at SpaceX. So it came down and landed, and then everyone was all excited. Here's everyone excited. This is the whole team talking about it. They have the best over at SpaceX, by the way. It was a clean, controlled ocean splashdown. This is the part that now you'll see. The vehicle flipped vertically, completed its landing burn, and safely touched down before tipping and exploding, achieving 100% of its test objectives exactly as planned, including the explosion. Yet the legacy media, like The Guardian, deliberately chose headlines like SpaceX rocket burns into flames to farm clicks, making it look like a failure when it's in fact the complete opposite, all for cheap sensationalism. And these are the stories they had to run with. SpaceX rocket bursts into flames during Indian Ocean landing. But that's all they're left with. As this golden age emerges, you're only going to get these Marxist style, oh, look at them fail. Oh no, these rich hoarders, all of these people with all their wealth, hoarding their wealth. All of these people are the ones that are they could solve famine. They could solve homelessness if they just would stop launching their rockets. And so, of course, you saw this weekend Graham Plattner, the Nazi guy, campaigning with Bernie Sanders, and they're going for it, right? He calls out Jeff Bezos, another rocket man. There's absolutely no question, he says, that if we target the wealth where it has been hoarded for decades, and we put it into social programs like healthcare, childcare, paying teachers what they are worth, we will absolutely improve the lives of working Americans. I think that he is pitching his propaganda. It's meant to protect himself and protect his crony friends. And we're not going to come after, and we're going to come after him for it. And then he goes, he's doing his whole thing here with Bernie Sanders, a big tour all weekend. United States Senate candidate Plattner launches a blistering attack on his political establishment alongside Bernie Sanders, fighting the oligarchy tour, of course, right? So he's doing the fighting the oligarchy tour. It's all just Marxist theater all the way down. Zero policy ideas, none. Bernie screaming about the oligarchy for 25 years has officially taken over this party. And this is why you don't really have to worry about them. So as Trump moves forward, going back, what we heard, the neocons, dead. Panikins, they got the guy who's a COVID worrywart panikin running the whole scene over there. Probably nothing to complain about going forward because the economic argument is going to take away their Israel controls the world argument. And so I do believe they'll double down and just end up on the same page as these Marxists when it comes to opposing data centers. Not working well for them. And here, of course, Dave Portnoy, just to show you how weak these people are, Plattner's team reached out to Dave Portnoy for an interview and couldn't handle it. And Dave Portnoy says, and I'm still wondering why your team thought I'd want to play footsie with a guy who is a Nazi, and just not working out for these people. So that's what we're up to. Sludge people not going well. And you can see, Plattner is about the only news they have going for them with AOC and all of these folks. And here they went for this weekend. Today, we honor the American heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice in Trump's war with Iran. And they put up who have died since the beginning of the war. And here you see they deleted it, of course. I'm telling you, Democrat Party morale is in the absolute toilet right now. Their key roles are filled by true believer radicals who constantly embarrass the center leftist / boomer types who know how electorally disastrous this type of stuff is. And if that wasn't enough, if they didn't have the trouble of Trump mopping the floor with both panikins and neocons and the entire Democrat edifice self-immolating and fighting its own civil war, whereupon you're going to see the Graham Plattners and the Bernie Sanders guys win finally after this will be their fourth attempt at taking control of the Democrat Party. I think they'll get it this time. I think the Democrat Party is circling the drain and they're going to indeed get it. But now they have a new problem, which is that we have Spencer Pratt in the mix, who has completely learned how to run a new form of a campaign, which is going to be absolutely devastating for these Marxists. And so here, American Debunk, a great follow, by the way, American Debunk, someone who put a lot of time into being a simultaneous sipper forever and has taken a lot of the Scott Adams frame of persuasion and is applying it to a lot of stories out there. Here he applies the persuasion story to the Spencer Pratt game. He's been one of the best Spencer Pratt, thread breakdown type people. Here, Fisher King says, Spencer Pratt stepping in LA is something that needs to happen in cities across the country. It's a white pill, even if he loses. It means we can challenge the nonsense of homeless drug addicts, preventable crime, constant pushing, and we can have cities clean again. He's created a new model of campaigning. He's the first person to run on a conservative policy while running a liberal campaign. And it looks like he is going to get there. What stands out most about the Pratt campaign is that it has taken Democrats' strongest play and used it against them. Democrats always cast their opponent as oppressors, but this time it is Pratt who has framed Bass and Rahman as the true oppressors, the people who burned his house down and made the city dangerous. A genius move. And now what are they left with on their end, right? So this is what they're going with. They're going with Karen Bass, reminding everyone that you can drop your ballot at voting centers and drop boxes throughout the city. Voting early is easy. Even babies for Bass agree. So they can steal it. Obviously that's what all they're talking about is stealing it, right? This is more stealing the election. We know all about the trade-offs between convenience and credibility, and talking about how easy it is for babies to vote is a sure sign that you're cheating in an election. It's not going to work. Here's another good one. I'm going to give you the audio for this because Pratt is doing so well that even the fake news is having to acknowledge his frames and the way he handles things. And here is Rahman getting shut down. They just can't land a punch on him.
I think I will say, as my husband works in Hollywood, and to promote your campaign with AI videos in a city that is the core of our entertainment industry feels deeply insulting to so many workers across this city.
He would say he's just sharing out other people's AI videos, and that's not what he's doing.
Yeah. But I would also say that I think the kind of language that he used, I think
it's a zero. No persuasion, nothing, zero. They're going with the fake news attacks as well, right? So Spencer Pratt is the same as he ever was, from the hills to healing crystals to his turn as MAGA's darling candidate for the mayor of Los Angeles. So Rolling Stone trying to get in on it. That's not going to work. And they're going with the far right celebrity attacks too. So now you've got Drew Carey trying his best, right? Far left Hollywood celebrities are mobilizing in full force to attack Spencer Pratt off his rapid surge. And it's put him within striking distance of LA Mayor Karen Bass, and he's genuinely connecting with voters. Rabid leftist Drew Carey wrote on social media, anyone who votes for or endorses Spencer Pratt for mayor of LA needs to get their head out of their ass. I understand being angry and unsatisfied, but at least get behind someone competent and not some serial scammer without a soul or a moral compass. Fuck this guy already, he says. And always we get the fun ability now because of what's been released with the Epstein files already. Isn't it weird how two comedians histrionically lashing out against me are both in the Epstein files? What are the odds? And indeed, it is Drew Carey and what was the other one? Chelsea Handler. Both of them, right? Crying about all this stuff. So it's Drew Carey, Epstein files stuff. So perfect. Meanwhile, Pratt's got the LA firefighters, of course. They hate what's her name. Also came up with another super hilarious marketing campaign. You gotta love it. He's stenciling in his campaign info and then power washing the dirt so that you see the ad because of the power wash. And this is what it ends up looking like. Imagine if the street is this clean, it says after. There's the, there it is right there. So here he power washes it, and then just a very visual, powerful ad. Trump did the same. Trump's doing the same. This is someone talking about something Trump has been up to. Remember I said Trump cleaning up DC was going to be a real story. That's all I ever really hoped for with his president. I didn't know he was going to go out to the city of London and all this stuff. But here's what he's cleaned up in DC. This has never been functional before. People were too afraid to go there. Now it looks like it's out of some place in Paris, some beautiful fountain, completely cleaned up. This is the exact same kind of stuff that Spencer Pratt has been up to. And it is really funny when I think of all of these issues and the cleaning, and when I think of the way the system has reacted to Spencer Pratt and Trump in a lot of ways as well. And one of the signs for a long time is that, Trump created cognitive dissonance in people's minds. And you're seeing Spencer Pratt with that same ability. He's triggering lots of people's cognitive dissonance almost on a daily basis. And seeing everyone's cognitive dissonance triggered in this way, I think, is a good sign that their techniques are really similar, that, people call him a MAGA darling. It's not exactly that. They just have the ability to get people to light themselves on fire and panic and get all upset and angry and have all kinds of psychological malfunctioning every single time one of these stories breaks. So hold on, I gotta find. I was sure I had a cognitive dissonance frame here. Just a second. Not there, almost. Huh. Maybe I don't. But I'm sure I do. So it makes no sense. I think I did one just before he died, and now I can't find it. None of this ever makes any sense. Jeez Louise. There it is. There it is. So again, we go back to one of Scott Adams' great frames here. This is his flags for cognitive dissonance, really important stuff. And when you see the Drew Carey reaction, for example, you can see right away this is expanding to this absurd absolute bit of word salad, right? He's no soul or something, right? He has no soul. Zero persuasion. You're seeing it across the board, right? You're seeing it with the panicans when it comes to Israel now, right? It's an unspecific doom forecast, collapse onto one variable. You're seeing a lot of that, ignoring predictions, resistant to facts. You're seeing it all across the board. That's why what Trump is doing to clean stuff up and create these energy systems, electricity systems, economic build out, and beautifying the country, why these things have such an effect is because the people, it's not arguments. It doesn't create the cognitive dissonance in the same way that the arguments do. That's why eventually these things will get more people to align with them. The cognitive dissonance is happening in arguments and in all kinds of publicity stunts, but the actual cleaning stuff is so effective. It completely aligns people. It's very visual, right? It's very visual. And because it's so visual, the visual nature of what he's doing is setting all of this stuff up. And, what's the counterforce to this, right? You've got people, you've got all the cognitive dissonance that's working. That is all Trump laser pointer stuff. He can now do that with the panicans too. He sees exactly how they freak out. So you can do the panican laser pointer. Democrats can be laser pointed all day long as well. So that'll work on both of them. Then you've got all of this build out, which will align more people. So what's the counterforce to any of this? What's the counterforce to any of this change that we're in the middle of? Is it Tom Steyer, right? Who is it? Hassan Piker? So just look at the other side of this. Here is Tom Steyer with that really fucked up looking woman. I don't remember her name. Welch or something. This one. This really, really, really weird looking lady. We're not going to be making fun of people's looks here, though. Let's not do that. But here's what he's saying. This is the guy trying to be the California governor. That's why I keep saying I think both California mayor and governor are up for grabs this time because of the amount of failure that is gripping the Democrat Party. And he says, I'm totally in favor of trans athletes in high school. When you understand the vulnerability, the stress, the danger of being a trans kid, and you understand almost half of them try to commit suicide, then think we're going to punish those kids. We're going to cut them off from a team sport. It's like, no, we're not. Yes, we are. And it doesn't even matter about this trans sport business anymore because they're doing the juiced games, the steroid games. So imagine you're going from juiced games to trans games. That's what it's going to be. The juiced games to trans games, right? juiced games to trans games. That's the difference. And the juiced games, they're looking pretty good, right? Steroid games in Las Vegas. I don't know if you guys have seen any of them. One second. But these guys are just absolute tanks. So here's the steroid games, right? These are the steroid games, people. Only one record got broken, and I guess not even by a steroid guy, just from the suit guy. But these are like just the most jacked swimmers everywhere. So I think there's more interest in steroid games than there are in Olympics that would be filled with trans. I don't think anyone's watching that. And here we got a, just to show you how fun this stuff is, right? Games and all that stuff and persuasion. This is also a sign of the golden age. Here's your health secretary, health and human services secretary, catching a snake for his wife. There he goes. There he goes. This is what California wants. This is what California wants. There he goes.
What are they? Well, they were having sex, so what were they?
They're not moccasins.
Okay.
Are they biting?
Yeah.
Jesus, the mouths are huge.
Bobby. I'm getting bitten by snakes, Bobby. You're getting bitten by snakes. You gotta love them. What's going on here? Oh my goodness. I wonder if it's my brother-in-law again. So what's going to push against this, right? It's is it going to be Hassan Piker, right? Is it going to be Hassan Piker? Here's Hassan Piker. This is a guy telling you to go to a revolution. He wants an armed revolution, but now he's being investigated for his trip to Cuba. And here's what he has to say. I prefer to not have to do this publicly. I think this is good. Some of it are looking for a silver lining. This is not good. No world. Where having to deal with a federal case is a good moment. I would much rather not have to deal with this. This is one of those moments where Democrat leaders should actually do something. I mean, who knows? Not just harming a person that they perceive to be an enemy, but harming themselves, because when I swing from the gallows, you will be there. You'll put up there too. This is not about communism. This is about socialism. This is not about socialism. This is about dissent against a fascist government. Is that going to work? I don't think so. I don't think anyone cares. And here's, they got Tallarico. We got another Tallarico one, right? Here's Tallarico. Here's a Tallarico ad.
The Democrats have a weird candidate.
God is non-binary. There are many more than two biological sexes. In fact, there are 6. It is now existential that we try to reduce our meat consumption. The American flag is such a complicated symbol for most of us. Prophetic voices like Jesus have helped me reckon with my own whiteness, my own masculinity. Our southern border should be like our front porch. There should be a giant welcome mat out front. No need to sit and cry over, your whiteness or your masculinity. They're gonna call me a radical leftist.
Something that you love that's not family or friends.
I love, I'm just saying this because it's on my mind, the trans children.
The Democrats have a weird candidate.
Low T Tallarico. Too weak for Texas. Lone Star Liberty PAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Low T Tallarico. That's a good ad. That's a very good ad. Low T Tallarico. That is what is going to happen. And again, just to show you how much things have changed and why it's important to see and just realize, what's going on here and how much change has progressed. I was talking a little bit about the beginning today, laughing a little bit about the Derek Chauvin showing you guys the new meme template that dropped with the journalist wondering what's going on. Well, you can actually apply that journalist wonder what's going on if you just look at the last 6 years and you see what has happened and the normalization finally of this conversation around Chauvin and the George Floyd overdose. And it's finally now hitting a kind of mainstream world where you can actually talk about this publicly, and you can actually now say that Derek Chauvin being innocent, period. Any honest person looking at the events would conclude the same. And indeed, it is a travesty, and it's past due to correct the embarrassing episode. And I think that just using this case as one, showing you what's possible, showing you how much things have changed, how much the environment has changed, what's the direction, what's the momentum, where we have come, how far we've come, how much has changed. So I do believe, I will predict, I do think Chauvin is going to get his freedom eventually. And we're finally starting to see that there's books and stuff being written about it. Here you see this fella says 6 years ago today, George Floyd died while in custody of Minneapolis beat cop Derek Chauvin, sparking the most destructive riots in our nation's history and becoming the pretext for an era of mass political hysteria that threatened to rip apart the very fabric of American life. You know, and I'll never forget this because 6 years ago this weekend, I went away for Memorial Day in the United States. I rented a little hotel on Long Island. We drove out as a family. We spent the weekend there. And it really was the month of May 2020 was the greatest month to be a New Yorker in New York City in probably the history of New York City. There were no tourists. You could drive anywhere you felt like. You can go anywhere you want. And most of April was the same, just weather differences. I did the same all of April, all of May. I was out of the ocean a lot. I was going to the ocean almost every day. I would go to Central Park almost every day. There was no traffic, no parking problems. It was what I called New York City for locals. I had zero intention of leaving New York City because of COVID. When people asked me why I left New York City, if I didn't want a big debate, I would say, oh, COVID. But if I was being honest, and I regularly was, and I usually told this to people, I said I left because of George Floyd. I didn't leave because of COVID. I didn't give a shit about COVID. Was over in New York City. It was done. It surprised me like crazy when I left this area. Even here, we stayed in a hotel. It was the beginning of the pandemic. It was May 2020. We had a full hotel. Only the people working there had to wear masks. We didn't wear masks. There was no masks in New York in May. We were done with that shit. It was when I left New York City that people were like, put your mask on. I was like, put my mask on? What the fuck are you talking about? Put my mask on. No one talked to you like that in New York City until things went psycho after George Floyd. Because of everyone in New York being a survivor, we didn't think about masks. Nothing like that was happening. And everyone was out on the street. When I started going out regularly, we only really stayed home for like a day, and it was like a rainy day in March. Every day I was out at the gardens. Every day I was out in public. I was out and out. I just didn't go to grocery stores because of the hassle. They made you wear a mask and all that. And I had everything ordered on apps, and so I never bothered. But I was outside every day. I was going all over the place, and we had a great time. And it wasn't until the cities burned that I left. And so I would tell people, I can even remember my wife's birthday is coming up. And I can even remember my sister-in-law calling me and saying, oh, I forgot the birthday. Can I order you guys some sushi on Uber or something? I said, sushi? What are you talking about? There's no sushi in Brooklyn. It's burnt to the ground. Like, you can't order sushi around here. She said, what are you talking about? And I said, you don't know about the riots? What riots? She said. And I said, go look on television. She couldn't find it. I say, well, go on the internet. You're going to see everywhere in New York City's burnt. There's no Brooklyn. There's nothing like that anymore. It's gone. And she, was surprised after she saw it. But that's the reason why I left. I didn't leave because of COVID. No one gave a shit about COVID. It was this shit. And people would not even have the conversation in 2020. This has been known, by the way, since day one. This has always been known. This has been from the very first instance of looking into what Chauvin did. Maybe not day one, maybe like day 4, day 5. I have been under the impression since the minute the toxicology was reported that we see from the very line he was alive. He died from drug overdose. It was clear. So luckily we've got American Scapegoat, a book coming out, and give you the preview of the book. But got to get out of this one. We need this one solved.
It charges former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin with murder in the 2nd degree for the death of George Floyd.
In terms of the placement of Mr. Chauvin's knee, would that anatomically cut off Mr. Floyd's airway?
In my opinion, it would not.
Had you found Mr. Floyd under different circumstances, you would have determined this to be a fentanyl overdose.
Chauvin is in the courtroom, but America's on trial.
So we can only pray it works out. And indeed, most important books ever done, Chauvin is innocent, and it is a national travesty, and it has to be corrected. We don't like it. We don't like it. All right, let me see if I can get the chat up. And I should be able to. Pop out chat. There we go. Look at our new system here. Huh? If you paid teachers what they are worth, they would get a pay cut. Very common sense. We love that. Good morning, Nolan. Thanks. Good morning, Maxis. Thanks, Nolan. Legit. That was the PSYOP anime, I think. Yeah, very good stuff. Canada is lost. I buy some Bitcoin each time my team loses. Canadians lost. Yeah. Penguins bought me a bunch. Yeah, Canadians are done, I think. That didn't look good yesterday, guys. If you like the sports ball, that did not look good. It was a very painful game to watch because of how sucky the Montreal Canadiens were. Shit. Total garbage last night. No shots. No energy. Garbage. We'll see. Brian's been prolific lately. Yeah, we love Brian Romelli. Imagine believing in the space psyop. Yeah. Shock waves, unbelievable. Blast waves. Is that, you think this is going to be the new, you think that's going to be the new Panikin thing? Maybe. Fake spacers, Panikins, no coiners, not going to make it. Racist dog whistlers. Bernie Sanders, a Jew campaigning with an unironic Nazi. Time is a flat circle. We love it. This is the only narrative that allows for supporting Collins. Indeed. I saw some pictures of people painting a vote for Pratt around LA potholes. Very good. I wouldn't make fun of her looks. Never. I never make. No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't. Thor tried to break the deadlift world record, but failed. Yeah, I saw that dude is 6'9", 450 pounds. Insane. Swamp Donkey cited, don't be a Panikin. Fucking madman. They choose to use the plus because P was too obvious. Yeah, exactly. LGBTQ plus. I always say, what's the plus? What's the plus? Low T Talarico, hilarious, isn't it? Isn't it? The Knicks are in the finals. Is that so? Escape the Matrix. It's the blue gold dress, but for race. Saint Floyd. Yeah, indeed. He won't swing. He doesn't even merit the big drop. No. Agreed. He's not going to be no. Hassan Biker. Too good. Too good. Too good. Oh, there's Hank in the house. Let me release and welcome Hank. How you doing, Hank?
Oh, Nolan, I felt you summoning me, so I knew I had to get on board. I was running a little late, so I apologize. How were things in the Great Awakening this morning?
We had a great time. We're enthusiastic about the future of humanity more than ever.
I love to hear it. I know I would be today, but I've got some good, bad news for you this morning. Good news is loaded with guests in our first hour. The bad news is we're so loaded that they said that you deserve the day off because you've been doing such great work. So you got the hour off. Taking it. Yeah, take it. Do what you will with you and yours. But what were you guys talking about on your show this morning?
Well, the expansion of the Abraham Accords as a peace framework, which is what I've been saying. That Iran would join the Abraham Accords, which is what you're going to see. And so, peace breaking out. So we talked a bit about the peace. Then we talked about the reactions that everyone's having. So the neocons, right? The Lindsey Grahams. No, you can't do that. No. The implications for Israel, indeed. Israel not even mentioned in the note, being dealt with separately, mostly being handed over to the Saudis, I believe, who will sign the Abraham Accords and then commercially bind Israel to Iran and the rest of the area. Panicans, of course, the ones that believe that America is under the control of Israel, not going well for them either. Israel's the big loser today. It's them drinking this bad medicine is going to be the way. And then we talked just, what it means, national security being economic security, what the implications, all kinds of amazing golden age stuff going on. Did you see those? You never saw the Lord of the Rings. You're not a Lord of the Rings.
I know of it. I know enough. I know Gollum. I know there's a ring.
Well, we were talking. Did you ever met? You definitely don't. But Argonath.
Yeah, that one's a little too in the weeds for me.
The giant statues in a river attached to two cliffs where a river passes through them, and they have these giant statues, and they were from a bygone era, and so they sail through them at one point, saying that used to be where. This was our old great society. So someone is out there proposing to build Lewis and Clark at the very beginning of Minnesota, where these two cliffs. And so you'd have these two giant statues welcoming, people to the exploration. And it looks like they're only going to cost 50 million US trash tokens. And the statue builders are actually in America. They flew immediately when they heard about the momentum of this to try and contract to build them. So signs of the golden age, man.
I've been saying
lots of nuclear reactors going in.
We need more statues of everybody. Trump's golden statue. We need more. We need
golden
everybody.
Statue. We need it.
Yeah, there's some crypto bros that finance that one too, which was funny.
I know them. I know.
You know those guys who finance it?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that was a fun story. They had like a black pastor coming out and do the whole thing. That was a good time.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I heard about this already a year and a bit ago. But the plan,
I didn't know. So this has been in the works for some time. Okay.
Well, so it worked that someone else gave him one, and then everyone noticed that all you have to do is buy a statue and build it, and he'll come to your event, and it's like way cheaper than any other way to get him.
Weirdly enough, I didn't see him go to any of those events with those great ones with him and Epstein that I saw get put up. Like, what? He wasn't a fan of those ones, I guess, huh?
I don't know what you mean.
You don't know what I mean. You know which ones I'm talking about. There's like 3 or 4 of them.
Of what?
Those Epstein Trump statues that started.
Those ones. Yeah, no, I think he put them up.
Why would he?
I think Trump put those up. Yeah. I think someone around Trump's orbit put them up.
Well,
no one cares about the Epstein files if Trump is not related. So if the way I predicted on your show, the minute I saw the statue of him, the My Heart Will Go On one,
that was
Titanic one, I said, okay, that confirms Epstein files coming back in the news.
Well, it better. It's crazy how we're still not talking about that.
We will. You're getting it all summer.
Yeah, I guess we do. We got a lot. The summer is long and just getting started. So cool. Well, I'll let you guys wrap up. Guys, stay tuned. We got some good guests in the first hour today.
Yeah, who's coming?
Who do we got? We got James Lavish and David Foley, both of the Bitcoin Opportunity Fund, will be joining us. And then a little bit later, we're going to have the co-founder of the Satoshi Action Fund, Dennis Porter, on the show. So it should be a fun.
I thought we had Youngelman on too.
Cedric had to reschedule. He's usually our second hour today, but he had something come up. So unfortunately, we won't have Cedric today. But we'll give him his grace on this one. Cedric's always great. So
man.
It happens.
Awesome.
So
all
right,
see you tomorrow, Hank.
Yep, see you tomorrow. Thanks, Long.
Peace. All right, team. You heard Hank. There you go. As the winners, we will correct history or just acknowledge and carry on smartly. We will correct history. We will write history, so that'll correct it. Great show, Nolan. Thanks. I know it. 11 straight wins. Crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, folks. You heard Hank. Peace out, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace in the hood.